Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits. I'm here every weeknight at 9:30 p.m. Central, where we relax and craft and work on a project together. Right now, we are working on block 3 of the I Love Home block of the month quilt along. We are going to work on these half triangle rectangles today. So they're like half square triangles. Oh man, this is going to mess me up all night. Half triangle rectangles. Like half square triangles, but a little different. They're rectangles instead of squares. So that is the plan for tonight. I have never done it before. I've read the instructions over on the Jacquelynne Steves website, so I'm hoping I can figure it out from there. But this is how far we are on block 3 right now. Finished the center last night, so we will trim this down to size first, and then we'll tackle those half triangle rectangles. So awesome, guys. Thanks again for joining me. There is links to, there's my mom is here. There are links to this project in my post here, and it's a free project, so feel free to click on there and download. You sign up for her email address, Jacqueline's email address, and then she'll send you the blocks. So we are on block 3. There are 4 total. So in November 6th, we get block number 4, and then in December, the first full week of December, we get the sashing and border instructions. So we'll be doing this all through December yet. So that's the plan. Thanks guys for joining me again. I'm gonna flip you around. We'll get going. All right, I got the machine out again. So we're gonna start, like I said, by trimming this down to, it gets trimmed down to an 8.5-inch square. It's starting out a little bit bigger than that. So I'm gonna start by just kind of marking my ruler here. I'm just gonna kind of line it up. I'm gonna line it up on my cutting board beneath it, because it doesn't have half-inch marks on here, which drives me batty. So we're gonna just line it up here. I'm gonna mark with painter's tape 8.5 inches so that I can center my design a little bit easier. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh wait, I want to do half-inch this way too. So I'm just lining up my ruler on the half-inch marks. Like I said, because I don't have half-inch marks on this ruler. I need to get a better square ruler, I think. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5 is right about there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. All right, let's do another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. There we go. So now I have basically an 8.5-inch square here. So now when I put my piece underneath, it can help me center it a little bit, because I didn't center this very well on when I stitched it. So like I want it centered from the farthest points on the tips of the leaves here, and then my house here, and there's a much smaller space here than here. So I'm going to use that 8.5-inch as a guide. And I do want, you know, enough grass down there as well. So all right, I'm about 3/4 of an inch here and about 3/4 of an inch here, maybe just a tish over. All right, that's about where I want to be on either side, so that's good. Top to bottom, I think we might be okay there too. I mean, we'll lose 1/4 of an inch. I think maybe I want a hair more grass. So I'm going to just scooch it down a hair. Okay, I think our sides are good. I'm also kind of making sure it's kind of parallel. You know, I don't want to skew it that much. I want my flower to be going straight up and my house to be going as straight as I can. So I think right about there, losing that 1/4 inch, losing that 1/4 inch. Maybe I do want it a little up. Maybe I want the house more centered. Yeah, I think we're gonna go right there. All right, decision made. Let's get trimming. So now I'm gonna cut off these sides, and then I will flip it around and line it up with this 8.5 inch mark, and then trim it again. So that is the plan. All right, this is always scary, cutting it. And I am just going to rotate my mat hair. I think I can get in there now. Oh, that's true, Julie. I could look at my other blocks to compare. Well, oh, I should have done it just then. Oh well, we're fine. I think we're okay. Like I could have compared to see how much I left at the top versus the bottom, but I'm just kind of visually, I want the house to kind of feel centered a little bit. I think whatever it ends up being is going to be okay. But yeah, I could have compared it with my other ones. All right, so now I'm going to line these edges with my blue painter's tape. And I can also align it to my mat just to make sure. I'm aligned here and here now, so I should just be able to cut. It should be at the 8 inch point. Eight and a half. All right. Should be good to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. All right, we're fine. I just get paranoid. I think I need to scooch over a little bit. There's not a lot of room here when I have my sewing machine and table and everything out. All right, there's a side, and here we go. Okay, decision's made, it's done. Let's take a look at it. So I'll just leave these on because the next time I use this will probably be for the next time we are cutting an 8.5 inch triangle. So we'll just leave that. Just gonna put it behind right here. There we are, there is our little house. Oh, it's sweet, I like him. So yeah, I think maybe we could have shifted it a little bit this way so the house felt a little bit more, and then we just get a little closer to the flower. But you know what? I think it's fine. I mean, it's done now. So there we go. Here is our house. I'm going to put this aside for now, and I want to tackle these half triangle rectangles. It's kind of a tongue twister for me because I'm just so used to saying half square triangles. But these are half rectangle triangles. Half rectangle triangles. That's what we're doing. All right, got my block 3 fabrics here. Let's just pull these out. We cut all these earlier at the beginning. So I'm gonna just set aside what I need. All these I'll do tomorrow, I think, or later tonight. This is those little borders that go around and the corner half square triangles. And these are for the half rectangle triangles. So I'm going to put everything that's not the rectangles aside for now. Oh, thanks, Deborah. Deborah likes the color of my sweater. Yeah, it was popping out at me in the drawer today. Okay, so I have, I read the instructions a little bit earlier, so we're just going to do it. I have 4 of ones that are all the same. I'm going to put them in a pile of 2 each. And then we have the 2 separate colors here. So some of the colors, well, they go together like this. So these are going to be on all 4. And then, you know, we'll match up the 2 with the 2. So I just want to double check my little code. Okay, the green represents yellow, and this represents light blue. Because remember, I changed the colors from the original design here. Yeah, reading direction always helps, right? So, all right, so this represents yellow. So when I look at these instructions, I can know that, all right, the yellow is here. So here's the trick. I need to know that the diagonal lines are going the correct direction. So like this. So for the half square half rectangle triangles, there we go, half rectangle triangles, you know, the temptation is to do it like a half square triangle, where you just put them together and then you sew down, or you draw a line down the middle and you sew on either side. But the problem is when you open it up, oh man, they're stuck together already. When you open it up, you don't end up with a rectangle. You end up with like a kite shape here. So we can't make them exactly the same way. We can't just put them together, you know, so they're equal. What we have to do is we actually have to rotate them. So it's like this. So instead of putting the rectangles right perfect on top of each other, you just got to rotate it so those other corners are touching. So I'm touching this corner to this corner. So we got this little rotation going. Now, if we sew the 1/4 inch away from here, there, like this is what we'll end up with. So this is how we get our half rectangle triangle. I have to think about it every time I say it. So see what I'm saying? So we have to do this rotation. But a rectangle is not perfect equal on all 4 sides either. So the rotation, the direction of the rotation is important. So on these 2, we're always going to have this one on the bottom. This is the one where it's all the same throughout all 4 of my pieces. That will be on the bottom. But on these green flowers, I have to rotate it that way. And then for these dark ones, so I'm going to leave this vertical. These I have to rotate the other direction. Hold on, that's confusing. There we go, like that. We're gonna get it, guys. This is my first time doing this, but see how these are rotated this way and this is rotated that way? That's important because we need them to be opposite each other. Otherwise, they won't end up being. They'll all end up being with the color up here and my background color here. But we need that to be flipped for when we do the other one. See? So 2 important parts. You need to rotate it so it's not a perfectly matching rectangle. And they need to be tilted in the opposite directions. So I think this is the plan. And you know what? I'm going to tilt this one exactly I'm going to tilt it right away so I don't get confused, because I want these 2 to be the same and I want the other 2 to be the same. There we go. So those are, I'm going to just stack those. I know, good thing there's extra fabric. I know this floral, isn't this floral just getting more fun like every single time? So this is kind of directional. I mean, I think these are probably supposed to swoop down this way, but I don't know how that's going to actually end up. So I'm going to pretend it's non-directional. I'm not going to worry about it. So let's match those together, and then let me do this one right away too, so I don't get totally messed up. I could probably press that, but meh. I'm in it now. We're gonna just do it. Okay, so there we go. So what we're gonna do first is, I'm matching those lines up. I'm gonna draw a diagonal line from one end to the other. Let me grab a ruler. I'm just going to use my water-soluble marker. Actually, you know what? I'm going to just use a pencil. A pencil is perfectly fine. Oh, that requires lead in the pencil, I suppose. There we go. All right. The pencil is just going to give me a sharp line. So I'm going to draw a diagonal. So this is eventually where I will cut. And I'm going to sew my 1/4 inch on either side of this line. But just to make it super easy, and this is how Jacquelynne's instructions were, so I'm going to do it this way too, just because it'll just be that extra easiness. I'm going to draw the 1/4 inch on either side of this. So I just know I'm going to sew along that line. And same with over here. I'm just going to rotate this. Oops. 1/4 inch from the center. Oops. I'm lifting up the fabric a little. Okay. So there we go. I'm going to sew on either side of these. So I'm going to do this one, and we'll see how it goes, and then I'll do my other ones. I kind of like doing the process for one first, because it would suck to do this for every single one and then have it be wrong. So I always like doing one just to make sure I'm doing it right, and then we'll see what happens from there. So all right, I'm going to scooch this over to the machine, which is right here. And I am still testing out these new feet. So this is a 1/4 inch quilting foot, so I can follow that. But again, I just need to follow the line here. So I can actually line up my middle line with my 1/4 inch, and I should just be able to sew right straight down. And again, I'm still trying to keep those corner points together. Wow, it feels like I haven't sewn in forever. We've been doing all that hand stitching between the needle turn, applique, and the embroidery, that this just feels weird. It feels weird to have my machine out again. But man, it sounds so quiet and smooth since I got that belt replaced. No chunky noises anymore. All right, here we go. So that is my first seam. I'm gonna just rotate it around and do the second one. All right on that line again. Yeah, Irene, I definitely had to watch her video and read through the blog posts on this, especially just to remember to rotate them the different directions, because I for sure would not have thought to do that on my own. So yeah, I'm hoping this demo helps a little bit. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, this is my first time making these half rectangle triangles. Wait, half square triangles, half rectangle triangles. Yeah, there we go. All right, I'm going to, well, I suppose we can test. So let's before we cut, let's just open this up. And sure enough, that looks like a rectangle. There we go. And then same with the other side. We'd open that side up and we have our second rectangle. So great. The rotating worked. Let's trim this and we'll press these open, and then we will move on to the other two. So that center line, that's what I'm going to be cutting on here. And we will be trimming these down in a way that I haven't trimmed down pieces before, 2, so we'll do that after we have them all sewn. But there we go. So we have 2 of them, and my little pinky stuff is down here, and the flowers are in the upper left, the greens over there. So they're going in the right direction. So that's why I need these ones to be rotated the other direction, because on these, I want the pink floral to be up here, and I want the dark blue to be down here. That's why we have to rotate them in opposite directions. So here we go. I'm going to set those aside. Let's keep sewing. So let's draw. That seemed to work. I think we're good to go. So I'm going to close these up and I'll throw them on the iron. Let's draw the lines for all these other ones and sew those all at once. Chain piece them instead. So, all right, this one is already rotated, ready to go. Match those corners, and let's draw all our lines. I'm probably going overboard with drawing the lines. Like I said, I probably don't need to draw the extra 1/4 inch lines, but that really was handy to just be able to stitch right on the line and not have to worry, am I getting my 1/4 inches or anything? So I'm just going to draw those again. 1/4 inch from that center line. I think I'm just going to go around like that. Okay, so this one's ready to go. I'm going to set it aside and do my other 2. Okay, so now these are the ones that are the opposite direction. So just to show you what I mean by that again. Here we go. Here's the diagonal for this one where the corners match up, and the diagonal for this one goes this way where these corners match up. So that's the difference. All right, so I'm going to connect. Just make sure those corners are matched up. Kitty, scratch it around a little bit. All right, I'm going to match up those lines, those corners. So that's my center point. I don't know if I'll be able to see my pencil. I think I might switch to my water-soluble marking pen just because I think I'll be able to see it a little bit better on this fabric. I could flip it around and sew on the other side, but meh. I'm going to try and do it this way. Actually, I could see that pencil pretty well. So here's that 1/4 inch mark. Can I see that at all? Oh gosh, that's worse. I'm going to go back to the pencil. Yeah, this is a pretty dark fabric. I could have just flipped it around. But I can see that middle line, and if I can see that middle line, then we'll be good to go. Oh, pencil's great. First I'm seeing half rectangle triangles. Yeah, both rectangles are the same size. They're just rotated. Instead of matching up the corners where they are perfectly go together, I can show you with the next one. Yeah, so like this. Instead of matching it up this way where they match up perfectly, we're just rotating it. What we're basically doing is making sure a long edge matches up with another long one. Oh, I suppose that doesn't make a difference. Well, anyway, instead of matching it up perfectly, we're rotating it a bit. This is the hardest part of the block. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like a little mental puzzle, but I think we're getting it. So this one is tilted the same way. That's important. So remember the 2 other fabrics I've tilted this way. This one I'm rotating this way. And you know what? Jacquelynne on her, or in the instructions, so when you get the freebie instructions, I thought those were pretty clear. And she has instructions on how to do this in the paper instructions. And then there's also, she has a video on her website for it as well. So I definitely, if this is super confusing to you, me explaining it, I would definitely check out those as well, because they're just short and sweet, and she really demos it pretty well. All right. But yeah, this is new to me too. It's kind of fun. And this is actually one of the reasons I was interested in doing this quilt along, was because I hadn't done these half rectangle triangles before. I always have to say them and say it in slow motion. All right, here we go. All my pieces are ready. Let's sew them all at once. I'm going to chain piece it. And chain piecing just means that I'm going to sew a row all at once, and then they look like a big long chain. So, all right, I'm going to sew on that line. So we're sewing on either side of that center line again by 1/4 inch. Right on that line as best I can. These are all going to be trimmed down when we're done too. All right, so for chain piecing, I'm going to, instead of stopping this one piece, I'm going to just continue right away with the next piece. So here we go. Doing all of them at once. This is why I wanted to do the one first, just to make sure that we're doing it right. And then once we know that we're doing it right, then I can go ahead and do all the other ones. Oop, I'm a little off my line. Okay, and then the one more. Here we go. Wow, I'm sewing pretty squiggly today. I am not a straight line sewer today. I don't know, I think I'm just getting used to sewing again. Oh yeah, her paper instructions, I agree, Rosalie. Her paper instructions were great. They really explained this well. So the instructions are free for this project. So you just have to go to, I have the link above, the Jacquelynne Steves website, the link, and for the block of the month. Oops. And you can get these instructions for free. Just sign up and do it for free. Or they'll be emailed to you for free. So, and then it shows how to do this there with a link to a video that she did too. So, all right, we chain piece these. Now I snipped the last two off, and now I'm going to sew that other side. Because remember, we're sewing on both sides of that center line. So I'm just going to continue chain piecing. There we go. Super fast. Oh man, my machine sounds so smooth and quiet. Oh, finally discovered, if you guys are new, I discovered that the belt that was hooked up to the motor was broken. So it was kind of jumping and making a chunky noise sound, and then it just altogether stopped working, and I finally opened up the bottom of my machine and discovered it. Like, pieces of the belt fell out, and so brought it in, and they put a new belt in while I waited, which was awesome. And it's just so, it purrs now. It's just quiet, and it just feels smooth. It's a happy machine. My camera is shaking a little bit yet. Sorry about that, guys. All right, there we go. We are done sewing these. Snip them off. Snip them apart now. So see, they're all together like a chain. And now I'm going to just snip them all. All right, let's trim these, and then we can press. And I will, I'll do the cutting down instructions too, because that was pretty unique, I thought too. I haven't done the trimming in the way that she mentioned either. So we're going to do that as well, and the whole process for it. So again, just trimming. I suppose we can double check. Yep, we got it going on there. Let's trim down the center. All right. Oop, there, 2 more pieces. Then we have these dark ones. I'm excited to see what these look like. Do our little test. Neat. So we should have 8 pieces now, 8 units, and these dark ones should be going in the opposite direction as the light ones, the green ones. So we'll check that in a sec here too. Okay, there we go. All right, so here we have the one, and there we have the other. And I think, let me look at the block again. I think they go together like this ultimately in the block. So this will go like that, and then our house will be kind of like here. So these guys will be making a star sort of shape once they're all together. So this pink will be making a star because those are all the same colors. And then it'll have like decorative colors in the background that trade off. And then we'll have the half square triangles, and it all go together. Okay, I'm starting to see it now, so that's nice. So all right, let's press these. I'm going to just read the instructions quick to see what direction she wants them pressed. Okay, we're pressing towards this, which is kind of what I suspected. All right, let's do that. Move all the stuff off of the ironing board. All right, tilt you guys up this way. So when I'm pressing towards a certain fabric, I want this seam to be pressed towards this fabric, like this, ultimately. So when I do that, I like placing that fabric on the top. So I'm just going to make a whole stack of these with that, my main color on the top. It just helps. Then you can get into like a system of doing things. Actually, I think I'm going to set those to the side here, because I have my little bitty ironing space. All right. So I'm going to just lay that on the iron. I will press that seam just to kind of set it. And then I'm going to fold it over and press that rectangle. And see, by having that color on the top, my seam ultimately is pressed towards that side. So there we go. Pretty. All right, let's do our other ones. I'll make a finished stack down here. We'll just cruise through these. And then I have some freezer paper out here, and I'm going to trim these down using the instructions on Jacquelynne's blog post about the half rectangle triangles. Half square triangles, half rectangle triangles, yeah. It's so awkward in the mouth, you know what I mean? Like it's just, I've never made these units before, and I think if you've done a lot of quilting, half square triangles is just part of the vocabulary. So a half square triangle is this, but as a square. And they're just they're just easy to make, and they're in tons of quilt blocks, tons of quilt patterns. So half square triangle, you're just so used to saying it. So when you all of a sudden have to switch to half rectangle triangle, it just feels weird. All right, now we're switching to these other colored ones. Same difference though, I want the seam allowance going towards this kind of mauve floral, so I'm still pressing with that one on the top. You love half square triangles, Janet? Yeah, they're fun. So for the Charming Chevrons project, I think they have that. Yeah, so here's the Charming Chevrons project. We'll be making all sorts of half square triangle units for that one. So we will definitely be playing that game soon. All right, one more after this, and we got our half rectangle triangles. We just need to do the trimming process, which is a little bit of a process. Different process than I'm used to, but we're gonna do it. Just because I haven't done it before, and that's the whole purpose of, one of the big purposes for crafting for me is to learn new things and get better at new things. But there we go. So here's this stack of units and this stack of units. Again, I think they will ultimately be like this. So let's just see. So like 2 will be there, and then, you know, the next will be, wait a sec now. There, like that. Gosh, these blocks are so big. So there we go. Now you can kind of start seeing how we'll have like this star unit happening with the rectangles. Oh, that's gonna be so pretty. I love this fabric in a mass amount like this. I think it's gonna be really pretty. Okay, let's get those back stacked. All right, next up, I'm gonna set this guy aside for now. So here is the way that Jacquelynne does the trimming down. So this is not, these need to be trimmed down a little bit yet, but they are rectangles, so that poses a little bit of goofiness yet compared to squares. So let me check quick. I want to make sure that I'm cutting them down to the right size. Okay, so 4.5 by 5.5 inches. Oh, we need to trim them to that. So ultimately, 4.5. So ultimately, they need to be like 4 inches by 5 inches once they're sewn in, would be my guess. So, all right, I'm going by her tutorial on her site. So you take some freezer paper. I have a little piece here yet. And I am going to trim this. Let's draw it on here. So ultimately, these need to be 4 inches by 5 inches. So I'm trimming. I'm going to cut this to the final size once it's sewn into the whole entire piece. So in the instructions it says to trim them 4.5 by 5.5, but that means once it's sewn in, we're going to lose like 1/4 inch on either side, right? So ultimately, once it's sewn in, it's going to be 4 inches by 5 inches. So using her instructions, I'm going to, I'm just getting a square edge right there. Let's make this 4 inches by 5 inches. So like this. So 5 inches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 4 inches. And I'm drawing on the paper side of this. On the other side is kind of that glossy, shimmery side. Oop, I keep moving. All right, I have not done this before either, so this will be new to me. All right, so this is the final size of our pieces once they're sewn in the block. I'm going to connect that diagonal, because that's going to be my guideline. All right, there we go. Got my freezer paper. Let's cut this out. So I have my paper scissors here. And if I'm doing this wrong, we will just have to sew more half rectangle triangles, that's all. But I can make the mistake first, so you guys can get it right when you do it. All right, 2 more sides. So when we cut our fabric, I'm going to add back in that 1/2 inch that I got rid of to make this, if that makes sense. So in the instructions, like I said, she was saying trim the final size down to 4.5 by 5.5. But when sewn, we're gonna shrink that down by 1/4 inch all the way around. So I need to delete a 1/2 inch, so 1/4 inch from either side for this. It'll all make sense in a sec. So I'm gonna shush this paper to the side, and okay. Now we have our 4 inch by 5 inch piece. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to make one going the other direction too. So we'll start with these ones. So here's what we're gonna do. I am going to press this, and since it's freezer paper, this glossy side, if I press it, will stick to my fabric. So I'm gonna line up my diagonal with the diagonal sewn line, and then I will go back and I will line up my 1/4 inch mark with the paper and then trim. And that way I'm not like trimming the paper funny. And so that's how she has it in her instructions. So that's what we're doing, and I think it's gonna work out great. So let's give it a go. I'm gonna center this as best I can. I wanna make sure I have at least a 1/4 inch all the way around, but I'm keeping on that diagonal. So let's just give it a little bit of a press. It just needs to hold down super temporarily. So yeah, there we go. Our paper is stuck on there. All right, so now let's grab our ruler and trim our 1/4 inches all the way around. And you know what? I think it is time for Mr. Rotating Map, or mat. I think this is gonna work well for us. Okay, adding back that 1/4 inch. And we'll just rotate. Again, I'm adding back that 1/4 inch by lining up my 1/4 inch mark with the paper. Oops, I slipped a little bit there. All right, so we are getting that 4.5 inch by 5.5 inch piece now. Okay, so there we are. So now I can pull this off, and it just comes off super duper easy, and I can reuse this for all my other pieces. So let's just double check. Yep, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 by 5.5. We're good to go. So there we are. Oh, I love this small one. This is the 7 inch. I think it's actually called an 8 inch, but you know, there's 7 inches marked on it. But I love it. Yeah, the 12.5 inch was too big for my space, so that's why I got this little one. Because you know, when you rotate it like this, then you've added, you know, a little bit. So that's why I like the small one, although it doesn't really work for everything. But there we go. So that is our first one. So now we have to. This one's all ready to go. We're ready to sew this one in. So next up, we gotta just keep doing these. So let's go over here again, line it up. So this is one of those things that is just gonna take a little bit of time, but to get these just the right size, this is what we're doing. And I should just be able to keep reusing that freezer paper. It's going to keep sticking. All right, let's trim this one. 1/4 inches all the way around again. But yeah, I really am digging this spinny mat. Uh-oh. I think my rotary cutter might be getting a little dull. Yeah, I suppose I could just rotate the fabric, but that's not as fun as rotating the mat. Zoop. And it has a sound effect. Yeah, they're super handy for just like little blocks, these rotating mats. All right, there's our second one. Throw that on my pile. All right, let's get back up to the iron. Oh, got a big fuzzle on that one. Center that again. So I'm doing all the green ones first because I'm actually going to have to draw a line down the other direction for the dark ones. But I should be able to keep using the same piece of freezer paper for both. Okay, 1/4 inch again. So tomorrow we will do all those tiny borders that are, you know, that we've been doing for all the blocks so far. They have those little itty bitty like 1-inch borders around it, around the main piece. We'll do those tomorrow, and the half square triangle units. Oh man, I'm just not getting this well. And then I think that'll probably take the whole time. So then on Thursday, we'll sew this whole puppy together. That'll be fun. So I think the needle turn took us a little bit longer this time. That's why it's taking a little longer than the other ones. Thanks, Patricia. I'm on a roll. They look like, look how pretty they look all trimmed though. They look so finished and clean, and I just love a good trimmed black. How about that? All right, let's do this one. And then we have 4 more to go after this. This is a kind of nice little trick though for these rectangles. Because for half square triangles, I usually use the diagonal here, but that's, you know, not going to get me the same. I suppose I could kind of, yeah, I mean, this angle is different for a rectangle than a square. See, it's twisted a little bit, so I wouldn't be able to use the diagonal on my ruler. So that's why this guy has been helpful. This freezer paper. Okay. Again, 1/4 inches all the way around. And then we got the other sides to do yet. It's nice having the guide for cutting too, because I don't have to line up, you know, the mat rulers with anything. It's just pretty slick. So, all right, there are all of these units all pretty. Okay, so now for these other ones, our diagonal isn't the right way anymore, right? Our diagonal needs to go the other direction. So I'm going to grab my pencil again. And I could erase this line if I really wanted to, or, you know, put a little squiggle through, but it's going to be really clear once you are trying to match up your diagonal that, oh, clearly this is not the right diagonal, right? Where did I get the small cutting board? Oh, you know what? I will put a, I'll put a link to it, Patricia, on this post when I'm done here. I don't think I have it on the post right now. Man, I think I just got it from Amazon. It's a Fiskars, I think it's called a Fiskars 8-inch rotating cutting mat. When we're done, I'll throw a link up though for it, because then it, you know, might be just faster. Then you don't have to do this searching. All right. Got that guy glued on. It's neat, this freezer paper. It's just still sticking. Okay. I could have matched that up. You know what? Maybe I will. It's getting late. My perfectionism button's kicking in. I'm going to redo that. The line wasn't perfectly matched with the diagonal. Once I start getting tired, then I have a harder time resisting the need to have something be perfect. And I can tell, I can feel it in me, like I'm getting to that point. But there we go. Now my diagonal matches up a bit better. Oh yeah, Joanne might have these little rotating mats too. Sometimes they only have the big ones. It's hard to know. All right, so 3 more of these, and we will have our half triangle rectangles. Thanks, Patricia. I appreciate you guys being here. Yeah, this is my first time with these half triangle rectangles. Half rectangle triangles. See, I can't say it yet though. That's going to take practice. But yeah, I mean, it is different than a half square triangle. A little bit different than that. Just a couple extra steps to the process. But once you have that figured out, it's not too difficult. You've never done them either, Marjorie? Yeah, they're kind of fun. It's a neat way, neat little thing that I haven't seen all too often in a block. So it's going to make the block extra special. We have a new skill to add to our superpower list, right? That's always fun. All right. Just gives you more options, really, right? But yeah, the two big things again were you're rotating those rectangles so they're not perfectly laying right on top of each other. You're rotating it so those other points meet. And then making sure that those 2 different colors are rotated the opposite directions. You're like one you rotate clockwise, the other counterclockwise, just so that they're mirroring each other instead of being the same. And that's just specific for this block, because we want our dark ones to be going in the opposite direction as the green ones. All right, 2 more. And then we are done. Oh, no problem, Varsha. Like you know, like I was saying, you know, I'm okay with it getting messed up and, you know, trying new things here. There's usually someone, if I don't know how to do it, there's usually someone in here that can guide me a little bit. But yeah, then if there's something coming up in one of these blocks or anything that we're working on that you're not quite sure how to do, I can muddle through it for you, and then, you know, hopefully that's maybe a little helpful. Makes it a little less scary. You guys were nervous about trying something. It's a good group here. That's for sure. Just one more after this, then we're done. Done with the half rectangle triangles. This freezer paper is definitely handy to have around. I don't think I put a link to the freezer paper either. I'll have to update my my product links for this post. So once we're done here and I start uploading it, I will edit my post, my Facebook post, to have all the extra links. Oh gosh, Marjorie, I am so with you. I cannot believe how much I've learned since working on the Splendid Sampler. There were so many different techniques and ideas in that project that, yeah, really going through that whole project, you know, I feel like a much more confident piecer, let's say. Like especially with needle turn applique and paper piecing and English paper piecing, all those techniques. All right, last one here. Yeah, and this little freezer paper thing is working out pretty slick too. I like this idea. I would have gotten messed up on this part too, I think, like how to trim it down correctly so that diagonal's right in the middle. I don't think I would have intuitively been able to figure this out. So I'm glad Jacquelynne had this freezer paper suggestion. Oh, Irene, I appreciate that. Thanks so much. All right, last cut. All right, look at that little pile of shreds we got going here. I'm gonna save all those scraps and maybe we'll sew them into the back of this quilt somehow. Okay, so here we are. I'm gonna scooch them away for now though. They're in my way, my small little space. All these little triangles. Okay. You can live over here, scraps, and I just want to peek at all these now. So here we go, our 2 stacks. And like I said, some are going one way and some are going the other. That's why we had to rotate one clockwise and the other counterclockwise, so we get this mirrored effect. And okay, so these guys will go, I know I'm not high enough for you guys to see really, but I just kind of want to lay this out quick. This guy will go in the middle. I'm going to overlap these just a hair. These guys will go down here somehow. Oh, I gotta do it together. I always get confused. I confuse myself real quick on triangle things. Okay, next up. like that. They can go down here. And I think I'll just leave this one there. Okay, so here we go, just lifting you guys up a hair, but this is kind of what we're doing. So this gets a few little borders around it, and then see, we have this kind of star coming out of it with these pinks, and then we get half square triangle units in the top there yet. So that's what we have to do yet on this. It's big. It's always feels so big. I'm not used to working on blocks this large, but yeah. So we're getting this subtle effect of this star, and I think it's gonna look pretty cool. Excited. So all right, we are done with the half rectangle triangles for the night, and I will leave everything out here, and we will sew the borders and our half square triangle units tomorrow, and we'll see how that goes. All right, guys, I'm gonna flip you around and we'll finish it up. Hello. So here we are. I love them. Cute. That was fun. Never made those before. Oh yeah, so I just rearranged, so I do have like all my stuff near me now, so I can just, you know, I was just able to grab, okay, I need my fabric scissors, or, you know, I had my paper scissors that I needed quick. I could just grab it there. So that's been a huge improvement on my little area over here. So I'm totally digging that, because I am just in this super small area. It's just this, like, I don't know, 4 foot by 4 foot table, and then, you know, this behind me where I have some fabric. My other blocks are here, and then the wall next to me here that has some goodies. So that is it. So here we go. Our little guy. Oh, it's gonna look so nice with these colors. These radiate from out. There we go, like that. Like that. There we go. It'll all come together. So awesome, guys. Thank you for sticking with me for those half rectangle triangles. Never did those before. That process worked really well. Jacqueline's instructions were great, and her extra how-tos on her website. Those really helped me. I watched those before doing this tonight. Yes, he knows. Hubby knows to stay clear of the fabric scissors for sure. And I keep them out of the way so he doesn't have a chance to use them. All right, guys, this will go up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies on YouTube, and it will also stay here on Facebook at Penguin and Fish. And in a few minutes, I will update this post with that rotating cutting mat. And what else did I need to put on there? The rotating mat and something else. I'll figure it out. But I'll get those up there tonight for you guys. Awesome. I will catch you tomorrow. Have a great Wednesday. See you later.